Good evening, Tom Scullion, very proud licensed London taxi driver. I would have responded earlier to some of the negativity that was posted this morning, but to be perfectly honest, I was far too busy in the cab. It's been very busy out there today, a lot of events on, and they're still on. So yeah, happy days in the cab today. So we've got this, we've had some comments. One particular one, it just rolled me, and I thought, if you're that negative, go and do another job, mate, or leave this group because you're bringing other people down. Yeah, I'm a half glass half full type of guy. Yeah, no question. But I also look at things. Now there's this panic about driverless cars and they're going to come and decimate the industry. Well, actually, they're there to replace private hire drivers. That's their function. That was their role. That was always the intention. Now these trials have been proved very successful, in the States and even in Japan, and they will be coming. There's no two ways about it. You can't stop technology. You need to embrace it. But what's happening, because these private hire companies know that they've now got an oversaturation of oversupply of drivers, and they haven't got sufficient work to feed all of them the way they used to. So they're killing them. Their commissions now are unbelievable. So the price that the customer pays and the price that the driver is paid has no relationship. It's no longer 20%, 30%. It's whatever they can get away with. And in certain instances, and I do follow these things, these private hire drivers, they're ending up with £1 a mile, running all over the place. And it's just, they're getting screwed. And they're going to get hit again in January, because even all the electric vehicles are going to have to pay the congestion charge. So things ain't good for the private hire market. So once these driverless vehicles roll out, I think the novelty factor will be very, very popular. But they're not producing accessible vehicles. It's not going to affect the taxi trade at all. In fact, it might do us a favour. So they're not going to have accessible taxis. They're not going to get taxi privileges, such as at bus lanes, taxi ranks, certain bridges, junctions. They just won't be allowed in it. They're there to replace the low-skilled private hire driver, which is all good for me and all good news for the trade. Now, it annoyed me when I read, it's good to hear that they've made the knowledge easier and reduced it to 2 years. What a stupid thing to say. And, you can't believe that drivers are selling the dream of being a cabbie. So I'll take that personally. Courtney Connell, myself, Tommy, Sandro, Lisa, Sean, we run a knowledge school, and we have done for 2 years coming next week. We've changed people's lives. We've got drivers now, new drivers have gone out, and they're living the dream. Honestly, it's transformed their life. And it's lovely to see. And why would we ask someone to be a cabbie? Well, we have got an ulterior motive. It's very simple. You need to save the trade, because we're losing 30 taxi drivers per week. Yeah, per week. So anything between 1,000 and 2,000 drivers are going to come off the road next year. How many new drivers get out? 1, maybe 2 per week. Some weeks there's none. So we have to encourage new blood into our industry, otherwise our industry will wither on the vine. Now, this utter rubbish, they've reduced it to 2 years. Oh, how does that work out? There's 320 runs, which is the basic matrix for people learning the knowledge. Yeah, there's more runs when I was older, but you still have to know other roads, and you will know the other roads when you're out pointing. Now, for the last 3 to 5 years, TfL have asked the same 2,000 to 3,000 questions. The same ones. But now it's 6,000. And you need to know all of them, because now the examiners won't ask any stupid questions like John's calf to Bill's hairdressers. They have to ask point to point from the 6,000. So if you've gone out and you've learnt the 6,000 points, you're going to be able to answer the start and the end point. The direction, well, some people get it, some people pick it up better than others. And that's why the Academy puts structure in, and we give loads of valuable resources and assistance, guidance, and mentorship to our students. How long does it take to do knowledge? How long is a piece of string? Our last guy to pass out, he's doing his suburb soon, took 7 years. He's 72 years of age, very fit, very lovely fella, Peter, and he done it on a bicycle. So that's how long it's taken him. Now, going back, there's been people who've taken 19 years to do knowledge. And when you go up and have an appearance, as we all know, some days you're just going to have a bad day. There's no way in God's earth that you can say that the knowledge has been reduced to 2 years. It's just a really stupid thing to say. So it's not like me to come on and react like this, but you've just brought the whole group down with a complete load of nonsense. And then you'll get the other doom and gloomers jumping in. You know, Steve Lodge, I mean, I love Steve, he's a great crack. And a lot of what he does is tongue in cheek. He's on a bit of a wind up. Is he wrong about the TXE being overpriced? Heck no. And we are going to face some challenges, but I'd like to think that before our students pass out, and we've got hundreds now, things will change, and things will change for the better. And there will be alternative taxis. The turning circle has been a monkey on our back for 120 years. We don't bleed and need it. The only reason the turning circles was introduced is because the first motorised vehicles didn't have a reverse gear. So never mind all that old couplers about the Savoys, a load of rubbish. And every other person on the planet managed to drive their vehicle without having the access to turn 925. So that, to me, is a restriction and a restrictive practice. So we do need to change condition of fitness. And now that now that LEVC are not producing vehicles, and you don't blame them that they can't sell them because they haven't got anyone to sell them to. They've stopped the production line and laid off the staff. So, for me, I'd like to think that TfL would look at this and give us an amnesty and an extension for the vehicles that will be coming off the road prematurely in the next couple of years, but I wouldn't hold my breath on that. But, I want to finish on a positive. We've got a really bright future in the London taxi trade. We've got plenty of people now want to come on it. A lot of them being forced onto the knowledge, because if you was a private hire driver now and you just strapped yourself up for a 50 grand car and you're going to be out in your ear next year, you'd be smart to get on the knowledge. But our school, we have loads of firemen, policemen, bus drivers, mums, dads, people from all walks of, builders, and a good bunch of people. So, if anyone wants to come down and see whether the knowledge has been diluted and see whether you could still hack it and run a few runs, well, come down and fill your boots, because I'm telling you, you'll be shocked. But look, next week is 2 years. Very, very, very proud of the Taxi Academy and all of the lovely people and the family that we've created. So have a lovely evening, be very lucky, keep smiling, bye.